So Facebook is a free platform, right? Well, of course it's not. Facebook makes billions every month, probably. Primarily in advertising, but also in sponsored posts by people, which is another sort of advertising, but it is different. But also in the sale of big data, which is essentially an artificially intelligent machine scouring through behaviour and selling patterns to people. So for instance, if I advertise cake, and I advertise strawberry, vanilla and chocolate cake throughout these countries at this time of day, people who have these hobbies buy it, people who have these hobbies buy it, but the people who have these hobbies buy even more of it. And so then I can start to sell these ideas to advertising agencies, and as time goes by, that optimizes until you find yourself buying far more products than you would have done, say, 10 years ago, because the advertising is so much more effective. It also monitors how effective adverts are based on the text. So, for instance, if it's doing adverts where it says Nigel Farage has made a product that makes everyone in Britain rich, everything in Britain free for everyone, it might notice that the Flat Earth Society has more clicks on that advert than the Financial Services Authority. So it will optimise those adverts towards that group of flat earthers or pensioners or young people who are in financial troubles or whatever. Because desperation makes that Nigel Farage is going to make everyone rich advert, which of course is a scam, but it's still an advert on Facebook because the perpetrators of that scam are paying Facebook to advertise it, so it's still an advert. That advert is more effective in places where people are desperate, so it will look up all of the groups throughout the whole of Facebook and start placing ads in every language with the local celebrities saying blah-de-blah has invented something for everyone in Peru to be rich. And so these scams, affiliate scams, proliferate around the world, optimized by Facebook's AI. So, what can you do about it? Well, you can report it on Facebook. But you see, the thing about that is, reporting it on Facebook just sends that message to the AI telling it that you're not going to be fooled by these adverts. So it looks at your profile in terms of big data and it says, right, this person's a pharmacist or a lecturer or a doctor or a piano player or whatever they are. And it looks at how many people with that profession, at that age group, that political swerving, this kind of hobby, stays fit, goes out, whatever they do, and it starts to work out how often those people report. And it realizes that the more people that see that advert, the more people are going to try and report it. So it starts avoiding showing that particular demographic of people so many adverts, scam adverts, I mean. And so what you wind up with is a system that is optimized across every hobby, every profession, every religious, every political stance, every where your photos are taken, what the backgrounds are, whether you've got a dog, whether you've got a cat. It starts to work out how it can send scams. It doesn't know they're scams particularly, it just does this for every kind of advert. But how it can send scams to the most vulnerable people without most people realising they even exist on Facebook. You see what I'm saying? The Facebook AI optimises passing scams on to the most vulnerable people exactly the same way it passes on adverts for kitchen utensils onto people who do a lot of cooking. It's exactly the same system. It just doesn't care. It doesn't care about one above the other. It's an AI. However, of course, all of these scams do get caught and posted on Reddit and, Finixio Pro, whatever the last one was called, will be outlawed eventually, and they'll have to change the name of it. As a result, there's a new scam name on Facebook every day of the week. I can't even remember what it was called this morning, but it'll be different by this afternoon. So what does this bring us on to? Well, what can you do about Facebook and advertising? And, if you're worried about your grandfather using Facebook and getting hit by a boiler room scam, which is, Nigel Farage telling everyone that he's going to free all Britons of needing to work. If your grandfather's not got too good a pension, he's vulnerable. What can you do? Well, the only thing you can really do is go into his profile with him and keep reporting them all the adverts for an hour. And that will probably protect him for a month. But eventually it's going to start realising that he fits the demographic to be hit by those scams. So it'll be time to go and see him for another month. Every 2 weeks you need to go and click report on every single, Prunella Scales is dead and this is what she left her family, a secret trading platform advert. Nigel Farage has invented something that no one will ever have to work again advert. Elon Musk has invented quantum AI, which means no one will have to work again advert. You have to report all of those under his user to convince the system that he is an exception to that demographic. And so you're fighting a war against him seeing those adverts. I don't really know what else you can do. My script here has got the last point. It says a message to Meta. But Meta's an AI-powered shareholder feeding machine. There's nothing you can say to Meta that's going to get them to change their behaviour. The only thing that will get them to change their behaviour is someone finds them $100 billion. And why would anyone do that? That's the sad truth. These monster companies aren't going to change. They're just going to get worse because the divide between rich and poor is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the poor will have less and less of a voice. And you can see it happening right now on the news. Anybody with an opinion contrary to big pharma or big business in any way is just, a maniac or a bigot or whatever. So I wouldn't bother, if you're going to, I just want you to understand the value of reporting adverts on Facebook. It's not going to change Facebook's behaviour. Nothing you can do will change Facebook's behaviour. But you can change the AI's opinion of who's using it, temporarily at least. As soon as they go back to their, how to save money as a pensioner group, it's going to start sniffing them out again. So you've got to go back there and do it again in a fortnight or the next week or whatever. And it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher and more dangerous for older people to use the internet because these adverts are bespoke to defraud older people who have a home that they've paid off or whatever. So you have to be extremely careful. There's nothing else to say.